Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the Daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 23rd to 26th March 2024, brought to you by Ganesh AS Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. So mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look into it. Let's analyze every article one by one in the upcoming slides. GULAAL GOTA, a beautiful, unique holy tradition for Jaipur. So what is this GULAAL GOTA, how it has been made, and what is the sustainability of it? So these are all the things which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. Before that, let's look into what is the relationship of this topic with the examination. Under prelims, it has been related with history of India as well as Indian national movement. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with GS paper 1 through a major topic called Indian culture, under which a subtopic called Indian culture that will be covering salient aspect of art forms, literature, architecture from the ancient to modern times. So this is how the news has been related with examination from the prelims as well as mains point of view. Okay, let's look into the further analysis of the news. See, in Rajasthan's Jaipur, a old tradition where colors will be thrown through a medium called GULAAL GOTA, which date back to 400 years. So what is this GULAAL GOTA? It is a small ball that has been made from lac. So what is the lac? What is lac and how it is being produced? We will be looking into in the upcoming slides while we are seeing the upcoming slides. So it has been filled with dry colors which is called GULAAL, which weighs around 20 grams when filled with the dry colors, that is GULAAL. So these balls are thrown to the people. So local artisans say that making GULAAL GOTAs involves first boiling the lacs so that the lacs will become more flexible, which will enable them to turn themselves into the various forms as well as shapes. So lac, what is this lac? It is the resinous substance which has been obtained, or the resinous substance which is secreted from the certain insects, and it is also used to make bangles. After shaping the lac, the color is added to it, and red, yellow, green are the major color that has been added first, as the other colors can be obtained through their combinations. So after the processing is done, artisan will be heating the lac. So it is then blown into spherical shape with the help of the blower called funkni, and then the GULAAL is filled with balls before they are sealed with lac. So this is how the GULAAL GOTAs will be made, which is the traditional form of celebrating Holi in the Jaipur. So where does this raw materials for GULAAL GOTA comes from? See, the lac is obtained from Chhattisgarh as well as the Jharkhand, and the female scale insects is one of the source for their lac, that is the resinous substance that is being used to produce the GULAAL GOTA. And to produce 1 kg of lac resin, that is 1 kg of resin, around 3 lakh insects were killed. So that there are 3 lakh insects are used to produce or extract the lac, that is the resin, from the to make 1 kg of the 1 kg of lac resin. And this lac insects also yield resin, lac dye as well as lac wax. And GULAAL is usually bought from the market, which is the dry color. So how did GULAAL GOTA become a tradition in Jaipur? So GULAAL GOTAs are made by Muslim lac makers called Manihas only in Jaipur. And Manihas are the ancestors. They were shepherds and Mania's ancestors were shepherds and Australians who were arrived from the Afghanistan, and they settled in Bagru, a town which has been located close to Jaipur, and learned the lac making from the Hindu lac makers. And the city of Jaipur was established in 1727, and its founder Savai Jai Singh II, an admirer of the art, dedicated a separate lane called Tripolia Bazaar to the Manihar community. So till now, this lane has been is the one of the major market for the GULAAL GOTA, or the lac resins, or the anything that is been related with lac. And this is where the lac bangles, jewelry as well as GULAAL GOTAs, as I said, has been marketed till even today. So how much does the GULAAL GOTAs cost and how the artisans are sustaining themselves by making it? So a box of 6 GULAAL GOTAs is temporarily sold at 150 rupees, which is costlier than the water balloons. And the whole family of the artisans is engaged in this work, and they are sent to sold in different parts of the countries. That is, there is a huge demand not only in Jaipur but also in different parts of the country. And for Manihas, lakh bangles are the primary source of income. Why? Because this GULAAL GOTA, which has been produced from the lakh, is only for seasonal time, is only for short duration of time. That is during the March and April. That is during the HOLI period. So after it, there is no market for the GULAAL GOTAs. So in order to ensure that the sustainability of the lakhs or the resin-based substance is being made, this lakh bangles acts as the another major source, that is the primary major source for the Manihas. And the Jaipur as of late become the has become a hub for many factories which are producing cheap as well as the chemical based bangles, which in turn has reduced the demand for the lakh resin made bangles. So finally, the chemical as well as the cheap bangles that has been made in the Jaipur is taking over the naturally produced resin made, that is the lakh made bangles in Jaipur. So what is the future like for this work? So the government has given artisan cards to the lakh bangles as well as the GULAAL GOTA makers, allowing them to avail the benefit that has been given to the artisans. And many artisans have gone to different parts of the world to showcase their tradition, so that this work will get marketed across different part of the world, so that the market could be cultivated for their work. And in a bid to save the tradition, so what the GULAAL GOTAs makers are demanding is that they want their product to get GI tag, so that the tradition of making GULAAL GOTAs as well as the market for the GULAAL GOTAs will get enhanced. So this is what the thing that has been done to promote the GULAAL GOTAs across countries as well as the across globe, and the thing that has been demanded by the GULAAL GOTAs makers to ensure that the GULAAL GOTAs the producing process as well as the markets will get sustained because of getting the GI tag for the products. So this is what the thing with regards to the GULAAL GOTAs is about. So what are the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of what is GI tag and who are giving it, and what is the process of getting the GI tag. Secondly, we should be aware of IPR. What is IPR? What is the different types of IPR, and what is the IPR policy of India? Thirdly, we should also be aware of what is WTO, what are all its structure, function as well as mandate, and what is the recent initiatives being made by WTO with regards to the intellectual property rights. These are all the things which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Holi is becoming warmer than before. What a new study say? So a new study or the new observation has been brought out by a US based think tank. So what it has said is that, so the HOLI period, that is during the HOLI has been celebrated during March as well as April month. So the climate of this month has got hotter when compared to the 1970s. So this is what the observation that has been made by the study. So let's look into what are all the minute details that has been brought out by the study, and what is the way forward, and what is the cause for this kind of increased temperature since 1970s during this time period, that is during March as well as April month. So these are all the things which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. Before that, let's look into the relation of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news has been related with general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity as well as climate change. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with GS paper 3, environment, through a subtopic called conservation, environmental pollution, degradation and environmental impact assessment. So this is how the news has been related with examination. So let's look into the further explanation or the analysis of the news. Since 1970s, both March and April month, this is the month or the time period where the Holi is being celebrated, have become warmer across India. and increasing the chances of uncomfortable as well as possibly dangerous heart condition. As a result, in some states, there is a high likelihood that the temperature around Holi would cross the 40 degrees Celsius during this period of time. Such an occurrence was rare during the early 1970s as well as the period before 1970s. The study was carried out by US-based Climate Central, and what it has examined is that it examined the daily temperature between Jan 1, 1970 till December 31, 2023. So every day temperature has been recorded as well as analyzed, and the various observations with regards to the analysis has been brought up by this think tank. So what the study has found? See, during March, the northern as well as western region of the India have warmed the most relative to the when compared to the 1970 levels. So Jammu Kashmir has seen the greatest increase in the average temperature of around 2.8 degrees Celsius. For April, warming has been more uniform across India, with Mizoram reporting the greatest increase of roughly 1.9 degrees Celsius since 1970. Early 1970s, that is during early 1970s, only 3 states, that is Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh as well as Bihar, has seen more than the 5% chances of witnessing a temperature of above 40 degrees Celsius. This is the situation during early 1970s. But currently 9 states are in this category, that is Rajasthan, Gujarat, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, apart from the 3 states which we have seen above, have the highest chances of seeing more than 40 degrees Celsius during this month. And Maharashtra has reported a greatest probability of 14% of chances among the 9 states. The researchers have also examined the 51 cities across the country, and it has found out that the 37% of them, that is 73%, 37 of them. So out of 51 cities, 37 of them, that is 73% of have the chances of 1% for experiencing 40 degrees Celsius, that is the 40 degrees Celsius above, equal to 40 degrees Celsius or above the 40 degrees Celsius of temperature during the March as well as April month. And 11 have a 10% or the greater probability of reaching 40 degree or higher than the 40 degrees Celsius during this period of time. Bilaspur has now the highest risk, that is it is in the stage of risk of facing nearly 31% of probability of reaching up to 40 degrees Celsius or the temperature higher than the 40 degrees Celsius during this period of time, which is 2.5 times higher than the 1970s level in the Bilaspur itself. So this is what the data that has been brought out by it. And what the findings have shown is that, so India has been witnessing abrupt transition from cool winter-like temperature to hot, warmer temperature. So this is what the transition that has been experienced by India for the past 5 decades. So what is the reason for this hotness? So the reason behind the warmer March as well as April is the rising global warming. So the unprecedented release of the heat trapping greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is one of the major reason for the increased hotness during this period of time. So while the annual mean temperature of the world has increased during this period of time, that is, it has been increased by around 1.1 degrees Celsius when compared to the 1850-900 period, because this is the period where the industrial revolution began to peak. And the annual mean temperature over the Indian subcontinent alone has risen by 0.7 degrees Celsius when compared to this time period. And this turning the planet into a furnace, and India's hilly states as well as the northern region is facing the brunt of the increase in the hotness or the increase in the climate change. So this is what the thing. And the Holi month, that is the month of March as well as the early April month, is getting hotter, which in turn is leading to which might be increase the vulnerability of the people facing the health related illness. So this is what the things that has been brought out by the report or the findings which has been done by US based think tank. So what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of? Us we should be aware of what is United Nations framework for Convention on Climate Change, what is sustainable development goal and what are all the goals, and which organization is responsible for bringing out these goals. Thirdly, we should also be aware of national action plan on climate change. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of. And with this, we have reached the end of this topic. $1.29 by 2050, impact of India's falling fertility rate. So a recent study has noted that India's fertility rate will be reaching 1.29 by 2050. So what is the reason for it, and what impacts does it create or it might create, and what are the way forward which India could take up to stem this kind of decline. So this is all the thing with regards to the this is the reason why the news has appeared in today's newspaper. So before that, let's look into what is the relation of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news has been related with economic and social development. Similarly, under means, it has been related with GS paper 3 economic development through a subtopic called issues relating to development and management of social sector services, that has been relating to health, education as well as human resource. So this is how the news has been related with examination. Let's look into the further analysis of the news. So India's total fertility rate, or the average number of the children born per woman, will be reduced to 1.29 by 2050. So this is according to the Lancet study. So it is far lower than the replacement rate. So what does this replacement rate is? It is the rate or the level of the fertility below with level of the fertility at which the population exactly it will be replacing itself when compared to the previous generation. So what is the level or the rate that has been fixed as 2.1. So India will see a rapidly declining working age population, with 1 in 5 Indians is going to be senior citizen by 2050. So India's total fertility rate has steadily declined since independence, and it was 6.18 in 1950, 4.60 in 1980 and 1.91 in 2021. So we could able to see that the fertility rate has been in the decline mode since our independence. This is due to the various initiatives that has been taken by government to stabilize the population in India. So what is the reason behind falling fertility rate? First is India's post-independence, the population control push or the population control scheme that has to stabilize the growing population of India. Secondly, the rise of female literacy, and then women's workforce participation. The third reason is the economic dimension. That is, the parents now do not receive much benefit from their children, which they would used to get from the previous or the previous 2 generations ago. So, and the cost involved in bringing up the children is also getting rise. So these are all the things that has been contributed to the decline in the fertility rate. So what is the long-term consequence that it will be creating in this society as well as the country as a whole is that the share of the elderly population will be rising. As we have seen in the previous slide, by 2050, 1 in 5 population is going to be the elderly population. And then India's labor force population will get shrinked because of the decline in the population. And thirdly, there will be potential social imbalance which could arise because of gender preferences. So in order to overcome it, some Scandinavian countries have introduced various initiatives which also bear fruits in their longer point of view. So what are the initiatives that has been implemented successfully and also it also bear fruit after some point of time is, so providing affordable childcare. Secondly, investing more on the healthcare. Thirdly, taking the large scale male engagement initiatives to build the gender equity across the society. Thirdly, economic policies that stimulates growth and job creation along with social securities as well as the pension reforms. So these are all the various initiatives that India should take to overcome the negative externalities that might arise because of the decline in the fertility rate. And these are all the things that has been implemented by the Scandinavian countries to stem the decline in the fertility rate and the negative thing that has been arising because of the decline in the fertility rate. and these initiatives have bear fruit in the end results. So this is what the thing with regards to the findings is about. And worldwide decline. So this is the thing, the fertility decline is not only going in India but also at the global. So the researchers estimate that by 2050, 155 countries out of 204 countries, that is 76% of the world countries, will be below the replacement level of the fertilities, and it will be around 97% by 2000. This means that the population will shrink unless the low fertility can be offset by ethical as well as the effective immigration policy. So this is what the thing that has been brought out by the Lancet study with regards to the India and also at the global level. So what are the things which we needed to be further aware of? Is we should be aware of national health policy. Secondly, we should be aware of the objectives, implementing agencies, and what is the reason why the Ayushman Bharat has been introduced. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the constitution provision specifically related to health. These are all the things, and apart from the health, what are all the provisions that has been related to social security as well. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of. With this, we have reached the end of this topic. Public sector banks dividend payout may be exceeding 15,000 crores in the upcoming financial year. That is the closing financial year 24. So this is what the thing with regards to the news was about. First, we will look into the relation of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it has been related through a major topic called economic development through a subtopic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. So this is how the news has been related with the examination. So public sector banks are likely to pay dividend in excess of 15,000 crores for the financial year ending March 2024. And it is on the back of improved profitability. And in the first 3 quarters of the current financial year, the net profit that has been garnered or earned by public sector, all the 12 public sector banks is around 98,000 crore, which is nearly 7,000 crores less than the entire profit that has been garnered by financial public sector banks during the financial year 23. Public sector banks also earned the highest ever aggregate net profit of rupees 1.05 lakh crore during the financial year 23 when compared to the 66,539 crore during the 22 financial year. As a result of this, government has earned the dividend of 13,804 crore during the financial year 23. And going by the trend, it is expected that government might be receiving a dividend of excess of the 15,000 crore for this financial year from this bank. So in January, the Reserve Bank in its draft guidelines as proposed or made a proposal to allow banks having the NNP, that is the net non-performing assets ratio less than 6% to declare their dividends. But this new guidelines will be implemented only during the financial year 25, that is the next financial year. So according to the current financial year, which the guidelines that has been issued by Reserve Bank during 2005, the banks that are having net non-performing assets which is less than or up to 7% need to disclose their dividends. So this is what the guidelines that is going to be implemented for this financial year also. So this is what the thing with regards to the dividends that has been that is going to be shared by a public sector bank with the government is about. And what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of is we should be aware of what is NPA and what are all the different types of NPA. Secondly, we should also be aware of CAR as well as what are all the reforms that has been taken by government to reduce the NPA as well as the twin NPA with regards to the NPA. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. So let's look into today's practice prelims question. Mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. So those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. So this we have reached the end of today's session. Please do like, comment, share as well as subscribe Ganesh IAS YouTube channel so that you will be receiving daily current affairs notification and also weekly environmental as well as science and tech notification and also any other notification that